The Pete the Planner Show is brought to you by Indiana 529. It's Indiana's 529 savings plan. I've been using one for 16 years. You can open an account with as little as $10 by going to My Indiana 529. Those are the numbers, actual numbers, 529, myindiana529.com. And let me tell you about the dream that I have for you and for us in our relationship. Right now, you can register for a chance to win a $10,000 deposit in your person's account. And if for some reason you win and you heard about it here on the Pete the Planner Show, that would make me very happy. I would love it. Here's also why I love myindiana529.com, because when your kid's got a birthday or the holidays or they do something special and someone in your family wants to acknowledge that, they can just go using YouGift and deposit money into their account. I've been fortunate that family members have deposited into my kids' 529s. So I want you to do that. Don't forget, as the year comes to an end here, let's max out that tax credit. Learn more at myindiana529.com. Of course, terms and conditions do apply. Dame, Kristen, hello.
Hello.
For those of you who may be just doing 529s for the first time, important to note, it's not like an IRA contribution. It has to be done before the end of the year. You can't wait until you file your taxes. It has to be done before the end of the year. Just to make note of it.
Kristen, I know there's a lot going on in the world right now, a lot of geopolitical events and economic news, and you're a human baking inside of you. But I'd like to hit a topic that's really been on my mind recently, if you don't mind.
Go on.
I don't want to wear crew socks. And I don't like the way this is going. It's like I like to wear or not even ankle socks, like just little. What?
No show socks?
No, not no shows. They don't go above they kind of cup the ball of the ankle nicely, give it some shape.
Okay.
From underneath. But then like you see the youngs at the gym and they've got crew socks on. And I don't want to do that, which means I look older than them, much older. I don't know. What are you doing in the sock situation these days?
I'm really picky. I never got on the crew trend because I just don't like the way that they feel when I work out. So I just never did it.
Dame, crew socks?
No.
I know. I don't want to do it. And my kids are like, your socks are lame. I'm like, yeah. 47 years old and I have a mortgage. I don't want cool socks. Shut your lips. Anyway, that's what's on my mind today. Kristen, last show possibly for quite some time.
Potentially. I mean, no offense, but I hope that that's true. Because she can be done cooking any day.
I know we got to talk. Kristen, you and I actually have a business meeting later today.
Indeed.
Business meeting. I'm pointing at the camera, which seems aggressive, so I'm going to bend the finger a little bit. Can I give you a topic for our meeting today? Can we get some Jane on the radio show in your absence? Like, I know that stretches. I just want to put it out there. We'll talk about it later. Let's not get too into it now. But I'm just topic for discussion.
Jane wants to be sick, but I think that's a good idea.
One of our colleagues, Jane, who's on our coaching team, is one of the most delightful people you would ever encounter. And I got to do an event with her this week. And so I want to get her on the radio show and podcast for all of you listen to. Kristen, you were at a wedding this weekend.
I was in a wedding this
weekend. You were in a wedding, but you did not get married. You were just, right. You were, what do they call those?
A bridesmaid.
Sure. And someone made a nasty comment to you. And we would like to play a game called, on a scale of 1 to 10, how terrible is that? Dame and I are the contestants. You are the host. 10 is the worst thing you could say to a pregnant woman.
Yep.
1 is, you can get some thicker skin, Chris.
Yeah.
So what did the person say to you? Dames gets to go first once you give us the comment.
Okay. For the record, I had several things said to me, but I feel that this one is the worst.
Well, can we warm up with the other ones?
That'd be good.
Let's calibrate a little bit here.
Well, on the low end, comments like, just like when people look at you and they're like, or like, when they ask you.
Wow.
That was strong.
That was the strongest airlock sound ever. What was the second one? They ask you what?
Or they ask you, like, when are you due? And you say, not until October 10th. And they're like, oh, that's a long time.
All right. So Dame, where do you rank those sort of feelings?
Like 3.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, 2 or 3. Hello, Brian Pinkins. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this on the show. Brian Pinkins, longtime listener, friend of the show. Brian got himself a big job.
True.
Oh,
New job for Brian Pinkins. I don't know if we're supposed to mix professional and personal here on this show, but I saw it on LinkedIn.
are they looking to sponsor a radio show?
Yeah, it's a good question. Brian, can we get that sponsorship going on? All right, next comment.
Someone asked me when I was due. I said October 10th. And he proceeded to say, well, then, is it twins?
Is that the bad comment? I'm just asking for calibration. Dame slacked me.
That's not the worst one.
Okay. Dame, what do you think about that one?
I will go 6.5.
Ooh, I was going to go 5 to 6. So I'll go 5.5. So you and I are pretty well calibrated there. So, all right, Kristen, hit this with the big one.
And the last one, I was walking around. I was on my feet literally the entire day. I felt like I was a star. And toward the end of the night, someone looked at me who, I don't know if he was inebriated or not. And he looked at me and said, I'm sorry, but that, points at Margaret and said, looks absolutely miserable.
Damn, I almost kind of want to stay out of this, but we'll go ahead. What do you got?
You don't think that's that bad?
No, that's what I'm saying. I want to stay out of it. Go ahead, Dame.
I hate to throw a brother under the bus, but that's like a 12.
Yeah, I'm so uncomfortable by that I'm going to go like 11 or 12.
That's
yeah. All right. Is it always men?
Always.
Yeah.
Women, elderly women say things they shouldn't too.
Dame, I was speaking of commenting on people's bodies. I was at the gym yesterday, standing next to a young man about 29 years old. We're in towels. We're checking each other out.
Okay.
And yeah, we're talking. And this guy's 5% body fat, probably 150 pounds of 5'8" steel. And I was like, I'm curious. Can we talk about what you eat? And he's like, yeah. I was like, how much protein do you consume a day? Okay. So, Kristen, whether you know or not, maybe you do, maybe you don't. It's recommended if you're trying to gain muscle and stay lean, 0.75 grams to 1 gram of protein per pound you weigh. And in some cases, you can do per pound that you want to weigh. Okay. Right. So so just think the guy weighs 150 pounds. A reasonable thing for him would be 150 grams of protein.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, he said he consumed 300 grams of protein a day.
I'm sorry, 300 grams?
300 grams. I was like, okay, well, how do you do that? Because I try to do 200. I try to go more than I should. I try to do 200. It was just nearly impossible and wildly expensive. He's like, well, I start with a dozen eggs. And I was like, okay, stop the train. What in the world?
That's almost a third of his daily protein intake right there.
Yeah. I don't know, Dame, if you've ever been in a towel discussing the body of a man 20 years junior of you at 6 a.m.
Not recently.
Yeah, it's awkward. Anyway, hi, everyone. Financial show.
Hello.
Kristen, this week I happened upon CNBC.com and found an article that really resonated with me, and I sent it to you, youngs. Dame's older. And that's what we're doing today. Financial nihilism. So we're going to learn about nihilism. We're going to learn about this concept of, are the youngs practicing financial nihilism? Are they feeling nihilistic? It's etymology day here at Your Bunny Line at the Peter Planner Show. Before we get started, anything else you want to do? We good? We've covered men in towels, pregnant ladies at a wedding. What was the wedding reception venue?
It was at their house, actually.
Okay, great. So it was dancing at their house?
Well, they have a big, it's a shop. They have a big shop. And so they cleaned everything out of the shop. And so it was like their own event, like venue. It was really beautiful.
It's perfect.
It was.
It's perfect. Okay, let's do a show. Dame, I forgot to send you a soccer live stream last weekend.
Yeah, I noticed.
Sorry. You told me to, and then I forgot. But I got one tomorrow.
I will be busy pretty much all day tomorrow.
Oh, you don't want to watch my kid play soccer?
I don't want to watch anybody's kids play soccer. I was just going to listen to you.
Good point. 3, 2, 1. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here's how the show works. You email us at askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's askpete@petetheplanner.com. And here's what can happen. We can take your entire query and turn it into infotainment. Hi, everybody. Kristen Elanius joins us for the last time in a little while, probably. She goes on maternity leave. Hello, Kristen.
Hello, Pete.
Damian Dunn will be with us for a while. Hello, Dame.
Womp womp.
I sent you guys an article this week that I saw on the internet, and it was waxing poetic about the reason that Gen Z and some millennials, but mainly Gen Z, making so many alternative financial moves is because they're experiencing a bout of nihilism. So, Damon, you and I talked before the show. One of us is going to have to explain nihilism. And then we had a plan. And I said, do you think I'm really going to follow the plan? Because I'm not going to remember the plan. And I don't remember the plan. Do you want to take a swing or shall I?
I mean, in general, I mean, nihilism, if I tried to get Pete to pronounce it nihilism. I don't know why, but it just, for some reason, is what it sounded like to me, or I've heard it that way. But in general, as great American poets, Metallica said, nothing matters to somebody at this point. Nothing else matters, technically. It was a paraphrase. They'll forgive me. James will forgive me for that. And it's kind of hard to disagree with the perspective of somebody who's gone through some of these things and what they're now facing, that it would be pretty easy to fall into this perspective, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah. So nihil is Latin for nothing, right? So it's nothingism, right? So to your point, nothing matters. And what I think I've learned in observing financial lives for a quarter century is people can definitely find their way here. They can have a catastrophic event or have some massive adversity. And sometimes that nihilism dresses itself up as perspective, as to say, well, money doesn't matter.
Sure.
It's experience and life doesn't matter. But this is a whole other animal here. This is to say, traditional financial planning, traditional investing processes, none of that matters because we're screwed because of what has been left for us from previous generations. So we're just going to burn it all down. And that's where the discussion starts today. Kristen, there was a discussion within the article of a young man who really exhibited this degree of nihilism. Jacob Kaplan, can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, this gentleman spends the equivalent of nearly a full-time job online sports betting and researching sports bets to try and hit it big because of this idea of, if I don't hit it big, am I going to make it?
You know, what's interesting is if we just clip that phrase, if I don't make it big, I'm not going to make it, right? It's that idea of I'm behind the 8 ball. Jane, we see this with people in their late 50s all the time that don't have the asset levels that they want. And so then they say, I'm going to increase the amount of risk I take because I got to make it big to make it, right?
Yeah, I just had a very similar conversation last week, actually, that saying, well, I'm more comfortable with risk than somebody my age, but I kind of have to be. because of the situation they were in. And there may be a few grains of truth to that, just because of what their current plans, how they want to retire, is laid out. But trying to convince somebody that plans are change, I often tell people that if you can maintain a perspective of flexibility as you approach retirement, that's probably one of your greatest assets going into it, because things don't always work out the way that you or maybe your financial planner thought it would. And if it looks better for you to make a couple adjustments before you get to retirement, all the better. But yeah, exactly right.
Kristen, what are some of the trends that are causing this group thinking? And again, when I read the article, is Gen Z just throwing their hands in the air and saying, well, this ain't working for us, so we're going to go crazy here with sort of financial risk and those sorts of things? What are some of the trends that are leading to this thinking, according to the CNBC article?
Yeah, I full disclosure, I want to talk about how empathetic we all feel like we are when we read these things, because what I find interesting is, are these new problems or do they just look different to this generation? So it's skyrocketing home prices. It's what is and has been the student loan crisis, and what feels like a tight job market, specifically in certain industries right now.
Okay, well, Dame, maybe we'll do this. Kristen is in a different generation than you and I. So why don't we take ourselves back to age 22,
okay,
our minds, and I want us to be as self-aware as possible, and we're going to evaluate how home prices were for us at age 22, how the state of student loans for us were at age of 22, and then the job market at the age of 22. Okay, so let's start with Kristen. Home prices when you were 22. Maybe, again, we're not going necessarily for you specifically, but for your generation, because we don't want to isolate it to what was going on in your life.
Sure.
But what were they like?
Well, it's hard because at the time, I think people would have said they were really high, coming off the run of the 2008 recession, seeing home prices come back. But now, if you look back a few years, people are saying, oh my gosh, if I would have just bought a house pre-pandemic, I would have been in a much better spot. That's why I feel like generationally, it's so interesting to look through that lens, because at the time, I think that my generation also thought that home prices were a huge barrier to financial stability.
Okay, so this is going to do exactly what I'd hoped to do, because Dame, I think it was different for you and me, who were in the same boat. I have the belief that house prices were dirt cheap in the year 2000 when we were 22. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was just my situation. What do you think?
Yeah, I think houses were pretty darn affordable back in early 2000s.
And the interest rates were like 8%. My mortgage was 8% in 2000 when I bought a house a month after college. You want to talk about affordable?
Bought, I think, our first house in 2004 at a huge interest rate of 5.5%.
Kristen, student loans for you at 22, were they a burden for your generation?
Yes.
Dame?
Yeah.
No.
Nope. Man, maybe there's something to this.
You don't think generationally that's true?
No, I don't. I think the cost of college for 4 years of private school total was $60,000 back then. Total for 4 years.
Fair. Okay.
Tightening job market. Okay, Dame, did your job market feel tight? We're reversing it this time. In 2000-ish for our generation.
The only reason the job market was tight for me is because I couldn't figure out what the heck I wanted to do. I felt like I could go do whatever, but I didn't know what direction I wanted to go.
Kristen?
I don't think so.
Okay. Do we? Okay, so now we all agree that home prices are rough for a current 22-year-old. We all agree student loan debt is rough. I don't want to lead the witness, but I assume you guys agree with that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about a tightening job market? So let's pause that. We got to take a break. We come back. We got a lot to explore here. We're going to come back with the idea, is the job market hard from our perspective for a 22-year-old right now? Always fun when we weigh in on other generations' perspective on the job market, but that's what we do here on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. This portion of the program is brought to you by Indiana 529. Here's what I would love for you to do. I would love for you to go to myindiana529.com right now, like right now. Like if you listen to the podcast, as soon as I finish talking about Indiana 529, just hit a quick pause, go do what I'm asking you to do, and then just come back. Like we'll still be here. We'll be frozen. Go to myindiana529.com, register to win the $10,000 deposit into your account. Terms and conditions absolutely apply. You can learn about them at myindiana529.com as Kristen prepares to bring a lovely baby girl into this world. Funds will be flowing into her Indiana 529 account from everyone in the world, including all of our listeners. myindiana529.com. This portion of the program is also brought to you by Herculean Meal Prep. Dame, I have made a declaration in my life. Shall I share it with you?
Please.
If I were to eat Herculean Meal Prep's steak and eggs meal every day of my life, I would be a happy, fit, and delighted man.
Well, good for you.
It's so good. There's little potatoes. There's an egg that actually reheats quite well. There's some steak in there. There's little roasted tomatoes. I take some hot sauce, put it over the top. There's a little feta cheese. There's a little basil in it. Kristen, it is delicious. And our coworkers are like, it's pretty indulgent to have steak and eggs, but that's what I look forward to every day. Here's the problem. Today I'm out, so I'm sad, but I do have my second favorite in the world, which is buffalo chicken mac and cheese. So if you want to be as delighted as I am every day, which has moved up to about 10:30 when I eat lunch now. Everyone quiet down, shush your lips, quiet down. That's when I eat now. If you want to be as delighted as I am at 10:30 every day, go to HerculeanMealPrep.com, order these frozen meals. They will come to you. You put them in your freezer. I'll be honest, if the freezer was just filled with steak and eggs, you would never find a happier person. You would think, man, that guy's not very smart based on how happy he is. But I am smart because I go to HerculeanMealPrep.com.
That was something.
Dame, I made my wife laugh really hard the other day. I can't talk about it though, but I made her laugh so. Actually, Dame, it's the joke I was telling you that I can't tell you on the air.
Yeah.
That's where it started.
Okay, that's great.
So maybe next week when I see you in person, we can pull aside, make sure there's no recording devices, and I'll share it with you.
Can I ask about the steak and eggs real quick?
Please.
How does the steak come out? I mean, is it like medium? I mean, because it could go really. We've all had meals where it's like there's some steak included. It goes horribly wrong.
Oh, that's a great question. It's like shaved ribeye, so it's like Philly cheesesteak meat.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And dude, I smash them so hard. They're so good. I might do the Hawaiian Burger Bowl. The ad's over, but this is not about ads. This is about my life. I'm going to be in Chicago on Monday, Tuesday of next week at a conference with a bunch of guys in bad sport coats. And no offense, everyone I'm going to meet there. I'm not going to have my Herculean meal prep. I'm kind of mad. Like I'm so upset. I might like take them and go to my hotel room and make them for lunch.
Yeah, just throw them in a cooler.
Right. Kristen.
Yes.
What is the one thing other than having this child in the world and you're not carrying the child, in the womb? What is your most thing you're looking forward to the most about being a mom next week?
Oh, geez. Not to get like really like sappy or sentimental, but I feel like it's not totally fair for my person whose government name we do and don't share. I feel like the connection, like it's just different, right? Like he is not the one who has a foot in his ribs. He's not the one who like feels all these things. So I'm really excited for him. I think it'll feel a lot more real when she's here.
That's really kind.
Yeah.
I try to be.
That's nice. Dame and I love being dads, and so we're looking forward to your partner and you experiencing the joy of parenthood. Now at 2 a.m., some random night in 2 weeks, when I'm snoring logs and Dame's in his gym working out, and you're awake, maybe you'll feel different. But you know what? Just know that. Can I give you a piece of parenting advice that has always helped me? Dame, do you want to go parenting advice here for babies?
You first.
Okay, you for. That's why I was doing it that way, so you could buy you some time. I'm a thinker.
Okay.
I'm a giver. When it got hard, I always reminded myself, billions and billions of idiots have done this. That's what I've.
That's been
it.
my motto so far, truly.
It is. It's like, man, some of the dumbest people to ever exist have been able to figure this out. I'll be fine.
Right.
And that gives me comfort. Dame, can you got anything better than that?
No, I would say to really relish the time period when poopy diapers don't smell, because they will eventually, and it gets better.
Man, that was a great one too. Let's do the radio show. 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show. Financial nihilism. Better Google. Nihilism is the feeling, the lifestyle, the perspective that nothing matters. There was a provocative article on CNBC.com this week talking about how Gen Z may be practicing financial nihilism based on the circumstances they were dealt. High cost of housing, high cost of education, and a tightening job market. Before the break, Kristen and Dame and I are in the same generation. Kristen is a different generation. We were talking about, well, when we were 22, did we feel that way about the job market and these sorts of things? So where the conversation is now, do we believe, based on what we're witnessing, I am an employer, you and all three of us have Gen Z colleagues running around the halls of this place. Do we believe right now there is a tightening job market or not? I'll start with Damian Andrew Dunn.
I do believe there is a tightening job market.
Kristen Alinas.
I do believe that there's a tightening job market for the job you really, really want to do. And that's what the difference has been in the short term. I still think that the job market overall is more favorable than maybe it was for my generation or maybe others. But I do think it's tighter than what we've seen.
Yeah, I like tighter. That's how I'm kind of thinking of it too, right? I think it's like probably not ideal.
Right.
But it goes to what you said. It's like it's the job you want versus the job you can get. But if you say it that way, Dame, I don't know about you, but I definitely worked for a job I could get. My first job wasn't a job I necessarily wanted. I just tried to make the best of it.
Yeah, I don't know if I would hope that perspective or that approach is still common, that you basically get your foot in the door somewhere and you work the job that you have to work until you can prove that you're of some value to that organization. They move you into the position that you really wanted. I would like to think that's out there. I don't know. Kristen's kind of not agreeing with me is what it looks like again.
I fear that might be a little bit of a boomer take.
Ooh, I feel like my daughter's here all of a sudden. My kids call me boomer like 30 times a week, and I'm not, but I am.
I'm not saying I even disagree with Dame. I feel that I am a little boomer-esque in that regard, but I'm not sure that persons younger than us agree with you and I on that, Damian.
So they should, in your opinion on what you see and what you've experienced, there's more of a propensity to believe that you should just be hired for the gig that you want out of the gate.
I like that leading question.
Not have that entry level position, I guess we'll call it.
And I don't know if it's as much about that, if it's about the fact that, like, if I put in the work and I do the things that I need to do to set myself up, like, this opportunity will be there for me. I think it's more, I'm not saying that there's not hard work or like preparation involved, but I do think there is more of an expectation that I observe. But I could be wrong.
I'll say this. We have some youngs in our workforce, and they bust their humps. They take advantage of every opportunity they get, whether this is the job they won or the job they got. They're the ones saying, I'm going to make the best of it and get more opportunity. It's with that, all this sentiment around things are hard. And I don't say that judgmentally. It is hard, right? It's hard for Gen Z right now financially. Let's talk about how that translates into what traditionally feels like riskier investing, like cranking it up, speculative investing. What we haven't really talked about, previous generations have done this too. For me, it was day trading in college, and this is still day trading on computer. It wasn't supercomputers. It was just a computer, not the smartest thing in the world, even for someone who thought they were smart. But Dame, what are some of these speculative choices that were highlighted in the article where Gen Z is acting as nothing matters financially, so I'm just going to take a lot more risks than I used to? What are some of these elements?
Yeah, the one that was highlighted first and foremost that is not investing in any way, shape, or form: sports betting and prediction markets. We just see that with the proliferation of apps that can be on your phone and the social media information that we see. I use information loosely in that context. People are just trying to find a way to take what they feel like they've got a really good grasp on, or what they might have a gut feeling about, leverage that into trying to make a quick buck. And we know that it doesn't always work out quite as well.
Kristen, we've been talking on this show for years now about cryptocurrency and meme coins. It's so much part of our lexicon that it feels like, I don't know the statistics of how many people in Gen Z own these types of investments, but it seems like a lot.
I just feel like anecdotally it's a lot. And I think that it's the adoption of cryptocurrency we're seeing it more in all generations, but the largest adoption I feel in younger generations. But I think that crypto, I think for millennials, is really probably all of the speculative choices they talked about in the article, probably the most common for millennials as well.
Dame, do you remember Charlie Munger? He passed away about a year ago or 2 years ago. Warren Buffett's right-hand man for Berkshire Hathaway. And when those two would start talking about crypto and how it made no sense to them, early on, that was the extreme true boomer take to all of this. But now everyone on the spectrum short of baby boomers with crypto has definitely softened on this. And the fact that crypto was really going when Gen Z was in elementary school and middle school, and it just really became like a tech thing, and which now brings me to meme stocks. Dame, meme stocks are as much about the humor and the social media aspect of things as anything, but they're really common. That's why apps like Robinhood have become so popular, because you can trade stocks that have been made fun of via memes the entire time.
Yeah, not only what you said though, but I mean, when this really all started to get rolling, it was because you were sticking it to the man on this as well. So it was a way for people to feel like they were getting one back, and maybe even putting the screws to somebody who they thought was, maybe even financially oppressing them somehow. But they saw a way to make a dollar. They rallied enough support around low traded items, and they really, really did some damage in the markets. Well, for other people, maybe not themselves so much, but I mean, meme stuff is just, again, can you make money on it? Yeah, wildly dangerous though.
Kristen, as we're going through each of these so far, the topic today, if you're just joining us, is financial nihilism. It's the concept that Gen Z specifically is looking at their financial lives, looking at the economy and saying, I have no place in this, and I don't want to be part. None of this matters. So therefore, I'm going to take unusual speculative risks in my investing. Things like sports betting. We just talked about crypto, meme stocks. Kristen, this one's fascinating. And this is a legitimate thing to do for the right risk tolerance, for the right investor. But leveraged ETFs are an incredible tool when used correctly. But man, they're being used incorrectly by a lot of novice investors.
Oh, indeed. And did you guys ever play the Market Watch game where you could invest faux money against like your peers?
No.
I feel like that is really where these options got more popular because it wasn't real money and you could see how quickly you could make gains.
Sure.
There was a lot of exposure for me and my friends there.
What I want to do when I come back, I want to talk about leverage ETFs because as I explain them to you, the first thing everyone's going to think about is going to go, oh, that'd be nice. And then I'll give you a little point and then you'll be like, oh, that's bad. And all of that's next. The good, the bad, the leverage right here on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. The good, the bad, the leverage.
Little faith. I was good.
Well, I am obligated by Chris Spangle himself to wrap. Actually, he's the podcast side. Matt Hiblin himself required.
I think that Spangle trusts that I've got it under control.
Spangle has nothing to do with the radio, so I don't think he cares.
Fair enough.
I mean, I got bosses for days. Kristen, what are you listening to or reading or watching right now that's giving you some sense of distraction and relief and joy? Is there some media you're consuming that you're enjoying right now?
It's almost like you don't know me at all. I couldn't possibly be relaxed. I'm having a baby any day. I'm watching everything that I probably shouldn't about things to prepare for and what could go wrong and what you should be doing. There's no joy.
Dame, is there something that you're listening to, watching, or consuming right now or reading that's bringing you some joy?
Well, there's a little bit of new music out. One that kind of brought me back to, a couple decades ago when I was younger and more fit. It's a new song from Aerosmith and Youngblood.
Oh.
And it was, it's very poppy, but it's a nice little ditty. It's amazing to hear Steven Tyler, who is 77 years old, just get up there and rip a song like that. It's just crazy.
Will absolutely seek that out when the show is over, out of bold curiosity of what Steven Tyler in a modern song sounds like.
Look, if you have the minute, look up Steven Tyler and Youngblood side by side. It is probably the most square foot of mouths between two people singing a song ever on vinyl. It is a lot.
Measure these men's mouths later when I have time. Yes, Kristen.
Can I change my answer?
Your answer was Peter doesn't know me. I'm pregnant. So if you'd like to change that, feel free.
Robert Irwin on Dancing with the Stars.
Is he doing all right? Just an entertaining folk? I mean, he's got his dad's personality, so I would assume
he's at the top of the leaderboard. He's just like, he just seems like the most kind human that's ever walked the earth. And seeing like the clips of him are just make my day.
Is he the hunky Australian son of the crocodile hunter?
Hunky, I don't know. He's quite a bit younger than me, so I'm gonna put that to the side. But I think he's like 20.
I mean, hang out in the locker room and talk to guys a lot younger than me in towels.
He's 21.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. I'm still trudging my way through that newest Dan Brown book, audiobook of it. It's so formulaic that I'm just like, I'm completely over it.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, boy, this has been Book Chat with Bitter Law. Okay, let's do a thing. Got show to go. 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show. When we left you last, we were in a discussion about some of the riskier investments people make. And by people, I mean Gen Z, because they feel nihilistic. Nothing matters. That's a life philosophy, financially speaking. It is an idea posed by CNBC.com this week. If we did really good show planning, we would have asked the writer of that article to appear on the show, but who really wants to send an email these days? When we last left, we were talking about the concept of leveraged ETFs. All right, so to begin to explain this, Damian, Kristen, I want you to think back to when you were an early teen, 13, 14 years old, and you learned the concept of interest or having money make money sort of thing, okay? And whatever amount of money you had at that time, let's call it $100. And you say, okay, if you don't touch this in a year, you're going to have $105.
Wow.
Wow. And I mean, I remember having these conversations with my kids in the last few years. Dame, I know you've had this conversation with your teens in the last couple of years. And when you first explain it and the underwhelming look on their face of like, dude, are you serious? It makes you think, well, no, in a year, if I have $100 and I leave it alone for a year, I need it to be $200 or maybe $1,000 to make it worth it. Well, that's not how things work. But a leveraged ETF, which is an exchange traded fund, turbocharges the ability to get returns. So typically a regular ETF that doesn't use the concept of financial leverage, if the index, like the S&P 500 goes up 1%, the ETF itself will return 1% theoretically. If they use leverage via options and all sorts of other mechanisms, a 2x ETF, if you get a 1% return in the S&P 500, you would get 2%. Another way to think about this, if you get a 20% return on the S&P, you're getting a 40% return on this 2x leverage ETF. Yet, Kristen, there are 3x leverage ETFs. There's a lot of leveraged ETFs. And so, Kristen, doesn't that sound amazing? The S&P 500 goes up 20% and you get 60% return. Wouldn't that be amazing, Kristen?
I mean, absolutely. Can you imagine the last, 8 years of investing?
Dame, and as we know, what goes up must come down. If you have a 3x leveraged ETF and the market takes a kick in the shorts to the tune of 20%, you're losing 60% of your money on paper. And that is what people tend to forget when they use leverage.
That's a pretty big oops or caveat that you want to keep in mind as you're putting your actual dollars on the line for this. Maybe slow growth isn't so bad after all.
I think Gen Z has more access to more financial information and education than any generation ever. They're more techno savvy, yet the foolishness of youth still persists, as it does every generation when they're that age, where you can see the 3x upside, but it's really nearly impossible to see the 3x downside.
Can we pause on that point for a second though? Because I mean, is there just an education gap potentially there? Because I mean, if you show somebody what a 20% return compounded looks like, you're going to be just fine with 20%. But is it the instant gratification aspect that people are, that dopamine hit to get that 60% return that people are chasing?
I have some junk sociology I can share with you.
Well, that's the best kind of side. Well, go ahead.
Okay. Here's two theories. Number one, Dame, I think you're onto something. Dopamine addicted generation.
Very much.
Click, swipe, click, like, post. And so what does it take to get the juices running? It's a different beast than it was back then. You drink some coffee, it feels great. And then all of a sudden you drink so much, that amount of coffee over so much period of time, it doesn't feel great. So you need more coffee. You have to keep pushing it. And yes, Kristen, I was thinking pre-workout. The second idea here is pretty junky in the sense that I have literally nothing to back this up. This is as anecdotal as it gets. And this is not a hot take. I'm just offering it as an idea. What if the parents of Gen Z have removed so many barriers that otherwise are things like adversity that teach character and resilience? What if they've done that so much that it creates this element of moral hazard where risks do not exist because you always come out sunny because someone is there to clean up the mess. Therefore, that impacts your investing strategy. I'll go to Kristen, who within a week will actually also be a parent, so she knows a lot about parenting. Kristen, does that hold any water whatsoever?
I wouldn't say that it doesn't, but the thing I struggle with is I think millennials were the first generation where that was really true. Our parents really shielded us from a lot. And I don't find that I don't know that it's as common in millennials as it is in Gen Z. So in practice, I'm not entirely sure, but I think you're onto something though.
There was an article, Kristen, I think I shared it with you. It was a couple of weeks ago at this point where I think it might have been the Wall Street Journal, where it was a interview with a number of different parents who were planning on financially taking care of their kids until they were at least 30 years old.
Mhm.
Like give them a couple grand a month just to make sure they could get by. And they were planning for it while they were like 5 years old. They were putting money away, not just for college, but to help them get through life with a couple grand a month till like age 30. And I think this goes right to the heart of what you were talking about, Pete.
Yeah, Dame, you and I are both sports parents. Kristen will not let Maggie play sports because then she'll turn into you and me. I think the beauty at this point in life of youth sports is built in adversity.
Yes.
It's like, I know what your kids have been through in the last couple of years, just various things here and there, Dame. The character building that happens after those moments, as you and Mrs. Advice choose to not swoop in and solve everything. You can still have empathy, you can still help them through it, but you're not casting spells to fix stuff. And I think that is what the difference can be, right? Like, I feel like our generation, Dame, like, our parents didn't try to fix anything. I mean, Dad, how do you spell this word? Go look it up. Dad, how can I look it up? I don't know how to spell it. Figure it out. Right? That is the essence of like kind of letting the adversity be the guide. And what's strange is, but Dame, I'm basically telling on our generation here. We're the ones removing the adversity. Yeah. Right? I'm not blaming Gen Z. I'm not casting aspersions on Gen Z. What'd they do? They just got older. Yeah. It's our generation that basically said, hey, you know what? I want to make this easier on you. I'm going to remove the barriers. I'll talk to your coach for you. I'll talk to your teacher for you. I'll call your boss for you. I'll post on LinkedIn. Does anyone have any jobs for my son? I'll do all of that for you. And then you get this moral hazard where risk is not a thing because you never get hit in the face. So I don't know. Like I said, junk sociology.
I think it was pretty good sociology.
It felt pretty good, but again, I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, I know everything. Anyway, I know everything. What else? What other meat on this bone do we need to hit with a minute left? Financial nihilism for Gen Z. It is real. I buy it. Dame, final word on this.
If you or someone you know is dealing with this, I would encourage them or you to be as positive as you can and try and share perspective as best you can. This is not the end of the world, but you still have to do long-term planning, and swinging for the fences now oftentimes just makes it even harder in the long run.
Fantastic. Kristen, last word. You want to do anything?
I think Dame summed it up really well.
Boy, that was your last hard-hitting financial contribution to this show.
Thanks.
Prior to becoming a parent. It's lovely. Oh, wait. Anyway, coming up after the break, biggest waste of money and the news. All of that is next on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner.
I had a thought. I just didn't have enough time, and I didn't need this to be my out.
Dame, I think it's about time for her to have this child.
It was like, that wasn't Kristen agreeing with me. That was Kristen just giving up and saying, no, for the first time in the next 18 to 20 years, it was her just giving up as a parent.
Kristen, you've known, and I've known each other for several years. Mm-hmm. 7, maybe? Are we at 7?
I think 7.
Mm-hmm. And you've known Kristen for the 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we say this with love. It's time for you to have this baby.
Get on it.
You know, because it's just time. I think we're ready for you to have this baby.
Okay.
Oh, I can't wait for the donkey emoji to hit my email or my text or whatever old people use. My clicker doesn't. Okay. You guys, what? Go ahead.
Reminds me of the time that you called it your text number on the show.
Oh my gosh. I am really distracted, guys. I want steak and eggs. I don't have it. I don't have it.
It is way past 10:30.
That's true. You might get hangry.
I don't know. I pity the fool that has a meeting with me after this. Oh, it's Kristen.
Hey.
Okay. Do you want to? Actually, I have to shoot some videos after this in the teleprompter, and I haven't done the teleprompter in a while, so I'm fearing that I'm going to stare at like a deer in headlights. Hello, my name is Peter Dunn. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Uranium. I'm just I'm not. I need to practice.
No.
Okay. What?
I have faith in you.
Well, that's nice. Dame, Kristen, we have our big all-team meeting next week. Get to see Dame in person. Dame said he's bringing some brown juice for me, which I appreciate.
I am.
Kristen, not in attendance.
No, don't think that traveling that far is advised.
Hospitals down here.
Sure, you can travel via donkey. Oh my gosh, Andy, you just said if you have a Miguel right now, the videos would be much more interesting. Okay, so guys, you were not in the office this week to know this because you're remote workers. However, let me share this with you. Young Brennan, one of our Gen Z 22-year-olds, heard all the talk of the Miguels, all the talk of the cold brews. So mid-afternoon, he hits that poppy, opens one up, pours the silver bullet down his face. You guys, it rocked his world. Heart palpitations. You look like a baby giraffe trying to find its footing. It was wild. He was like, I don't feel good. It was amazing because that's what a Miguel will do to you if you're not ready for it.
Yeah, and if you can just harness that energy into a radio show, everything just gets like a 3x leverage ETF.
That's exactly right. Okay. Let's go. In 3, 2, 1. This week's biggest waste of money of the week right here on the Pete the Planner show is the Violet Grey Madame Grey Extrait de Parfum. Some fragrances are meant to evoke a feeling or a place. In the case of Violet Grey's Madame Grey Extrait de Parfum, it's meant to smell like lost love, an ode to once passionate relationships from long ago. It arrives in a sculpture glass bottle that's handcrafted by Walter Sperger in France and references spots on the body where it's applied. It's limited to 1,100 bottles. Kristen, are you one of those people who have a signature scent?
There is actually just one scent that I wear, yes.
Dame, have you noticed women claim to have a signature scent? It's like, it's my scent. You know?
No. There's only one woman I really get anywhere close to, and I don't smell what other people are wearing too much.
Why do you say it like that to make me feel like some creep? Thanks. Dame, I assume your signature scent is just musk.
Yeah, it's just the testosterone that oozes out of my pores.
Yeah. All right, Kristen, how much is this bottle that's crafted in France and references spots on the body where it's applied? I hate that copy, and I don't want to know what. How much does this cost?
How many ounces is this, Pete?
Oh, geez.
I'm sorry, because that makes a huge difference.
Okay, calm down. 60 milliliters.
That means nothing to me.
A shot, 2 ounces of liquor is 50 mils, I believe.
It is
maybe.
Maybe it's $300.
Okay, yeah, that's a good guess. Dame?
I was going to say 150.
$1,100. Dame, what's in the news this week?
Liberation Day rocked the U.S. economy, just not enough to keep Americans out of the stores. The Bureau of Economic Analysis says GDP grew at an annual rate of 3.8% in the second quarter. That covers April through June. The fastest pace in 2 years, believe it or not, and much stronger than earlier estimates of 3% and 3.3%. Also marks a big rebound from the first quarter when the economy actually shrank. Surprise jump has some questioning the accuracy of government data. But economists point to fading tariff shocks as the excuse or the reason or whatever you want to call it. Companies had rushed to import goods earlier in the year and then slowed down as new trade deals were reached. At the same time, consumers who were nervous about tariffs open their wallets again. Looking ahead, the Atlanta Fed expects growth to continue, with GDP projected to rise another 3.3% in the third quarter. Peter Dunn, you're on the TV all the time making projections and predictions. Are you buying that the economy grew at an annual rate of 3.8% in the second quarter?
I'll answer that. Can I put a thing out real quick about this idea?
Yeah, sure.
And it's something that you've helped me with a lot over the last several years, Dan.
Okay.
And it's about narratives, right? It's about we all do this. We hear a bit of news, a breaking news element. We have a thought, and we know we're going to get more details later. And I'm not saying we hope the details validate our narrative that we form at the beginning, but we often do.
Sure.
Right? It's like, oh, I'll really be able to weigh in once I know that this is part of my narrative. And I think economic data is the same thing. So my narrative is the economy sucks. Okay. That data doesn't match my narrative. So what I don't want to necessarily say is, I don't buy it, because I think that's stupid. And I'm a little smarter than that. So I will say, I find the data surprising. Is that milquetoast or is that fair?
No, I want the economy to be great and robust, and 3.8% seems pretty strong for what people are seeing around them.
Seems a little bit strong for the jobs report. Kristen, how do you want to answer this question?
Well, I think that there's a distinct difference between what people say and what they say they feel about the economy and how they actually practice in their everyday lives. And while I think that people feel that the economy is tighter and they complain about things like tariffs, anecdotally, we see the lives of the everyman every single day in our full-time work. I don't think that it's impacting the way people are living their lives by and large. And I think that explains the disconnect between what we feel as people who read these headlines and study these things versus why that data doesn't feel like it matches.
Interesting. Dane, what else is in the news?
Earlier this year, the Trump administration negotiated a deal that allowed Japan's Nippon Steel to acquire domestic producer U.S. Steel in exchange for a unique caveat. The U.S. government received a golden share of the newly combined organization that gives the White House the right to veto any big decisions that Nippon and U.S. Steel make stateside. This past weekend, the administration exercised that right for the very first time when word arrived at the White House that U.S. Steel was shuttering a plant in Illinois. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick told CEO Steve Burritt to think again, mister. The plan has now been reversed. The plant will stay open, and the golden share has proven its power. There's some more, but I'm going to stop here because I think this is a really important part of this conversation. How do we feel about this? Yeah.
I have a question. So they were just going to close it all together, or the plant was going to move somewhere else?
Great question. I do not know, but I would guess it was probably going to be shut down, because if it was just moving locations to someplace else in the U.S., I don't think it probably would have been quite as big of a deal, but I would guess it was probably going to get shut down entirely.
Interesting. Okay.
Damn, you're getting me today, pal. Here's what I think. I don't want anyone to lose jobs. I don't want anybody to lose jobs.
Of course.
And so what's interesting is, as a business, sometimes efficiency matters. Sometimes profits matter. Sometimes a global business mission matters. Okay, so if the administration is saying we don't care if this is actually good for the business or not because we want to save jobs and have it here, how's that different than what being the opposite of what Doge is doing, which just wiping jobs out completely, whether it's efficient or not? It feels like it talking out of two sides of the mouth if you kind of draw that parallel there. It's like even with the government shutdown, which is going to happen next Tuesday at midnight, what the dangling element of all of this is, well, we're just going to fire a bunch of federal workers. And it's like, well, okay, well, are we saving jobs or are we not saving jobs? And if the government owns a portion of the steel company, then the taxpayers own a portion of that steel company. So are we dealing with efficiency or are we dealing with jobs? Because I don't understand.
Yeah. And friend of the show, Jeremiah, points out the production was moving to Indiana and Pennsylvania. So I don't know.
I will say this: what Intel popped in a good way last week, 35. I don't know, making it up, 35% increase in share value last week. And now the government owns, or prior to that, a government owns a nice bit of Intel because of a deal, an investment they made there. It's a whole new world with the government, us, I guess, the U.S. people owning shares of private companies. I don't have my head around it yet quite clearly, as I'm nearly incoherent of what I'm saying now. Is your head around it yet, Dame?
Not really. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of having the government involved in private business in any way, shape, or form. So this is I understand why it helps smooth things out in the economy, but just crossing that line, I don't care for it.
Kristen, do you care to weigh in?
I feel like Dame's inner Ron Swanson is really coming out in this last segment.
You know, I hear you, but I also feel like Dame's doing something smart here. He's teeing up a story, making me lose my mind about it. And then he gets to just make really calm comment at the end. It's some real Jedi stuff. Speaking of Jedis, Kristen, Dame and I wish you the best of luck the next few weeks becoming a mother. And so for the rest of you, sending good vibes are all that's in the budget. I'm Pete the Planner. This is the Pete the Planner Show. That was the radio send off for you. We'll do one for the stream and the podcast and the sketch artist.
Oh my.
I like when Kristen goes, oh my. Dame, we took I don't know what to call them, personality tests, work style tests here in the workplace this week here at your money line. And Kristen, have you done yours yet?
No, and I'm like the holdout. I'm sorry, I've been distracted.
So, babe. Anyway,
I'm trying to hire somebody.
I know. Well, get in line. So I will say this. What's fascinating, Dame, is how different you and I really, really are. Despite the fact on the radio, we have so much in common.
I mean, doesn't it just give you hope for the country that everybody can come together when people as different as us can? Kristen shakes her head. No.
Nope.
Have you looked at our interplay on that tool, Dame?
No, I ran through mine last night and then kind of just went through the list of everybody with the main descriptors next to everybody and didn't really dig into the interplay at all.
So click Insight next to my name. Mm-hmm. And then it talks about the interplay of you and I specifically. And it, of course, nails it, right? But man, are we different. We are so different.
We've kind of known that for a while.
We've known that for a long time. I know. Okay. Well, Kristen, I don't know what to say. I'm a little excited for him, sad. I'm going to miss you.
I might be here next week.
Nope, you're not allowed to. Bed rest. I've put you on bed rest.
No, if this induction is not scheduled before the end of the week, I am working until the moment she's born, because what else am I going to do? Sit around and be anxious?
Clearly, you don't want to listen to any media that might distract you or entertain you. So I learned that this week.
Enjoy those last few minutes of peace and quiet before you have uninterrupted 20 years of yelling and screaming.
No, true.
So anyway, everyone, we will do our best to appropriately update you on Kristen and Maggie and their journey here over the next few weeks. course, what Kristen allows us to tell you. But if you have thoughts, feel by all means, just keep joining in, asking, and we'll tell you what we know. So is that fair, Kristen?
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Dame, let us know how the journey goes with you and the burrito that you'll consume this weekend in a fit of enjoyment and pleasure between swim meets or whatever you're going to do.
It'll be amazing.
All right, everybody. Stay getting money.